Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the KMN 1971, back with another edition of my comic book collection spotlight series. This edition will be focused on a community comic book tag by Spider Comics number 7. Thanks for putting this tag out, man. Very nice, especially this time of year, um, where we can all use a little community exercise. So, I haven't done a top 50 video in a little over a year, so I was a little I don't know, curious about how much my top 50 has changed over the course of a little over a year. I didn't think it would be that really significant, but I actually had like 15 or 17 more new additions to my top 50, which was tough taking out those other comics that were in my previous top 50 video. So hopefully this will supply you some entertainment while we're all boarded up over the weekend. So without any further ado, kicking it off, here we have Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. This is the foil Virgin variant that was put out in some Comic Con last year or the year before. I can't remember. But the significance for me was it is signed signature series by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. Love that stuff, man. I'm not really big on SIGs, but those guys are like my heroes, and this is pretty much my all time favorite story. I have the originals, of course, but this was way too cool to pass up. All right. Moving along, we have John Byrne's Next Men, number 21, which is the first appearance of Hellboy in color. Bronze Age classic, in my opinion anyway. Tomb of Dracula, number 1. Get this a little bit more focused. There we go. And, yeah, love it. One of classic premiere issue. Special Marvel Edition, number 15, first appearance of Shang-Chi. One of my, as longtime viewers of my channel know, I have a huge affinity for the badasses of the Bronze Age, which Shang-Chi is definitely a member of. The only other signed book that you'll see here, which I'm kind of like I owned this the last time that I had a top 50 video, so I'm kind of ashamed that I forgot to include it. But this is Spider-Man number 1 from the Todd McFarlane series from the 1990s, and this is signed by Stan Lee. And it does have a certificate of authenticity from the Stan Lee Collectibles store. So awesome stuff. I ended up purchasing this. I don't know, maybe like a year before Stan had passed. So rest in peace, of course, always. And yeah, just great. My all-time favorite Spider-Man writer and obviously creator, and my all-time favorite Spider-Man artist, and arguably my all-time favorite Spider-Man cover. Harbinger number 1. Coupons included, of course. I ended up buying this probably about 5 years ago for $10. I love buying those old books from the 1990s or whenever that they were just super hot back in the day. And this one has rebounded. Obviously, it's not worth $10 anymore, but I love the early Jim Shooter era Valiant stuff from the 1990s. Great stuff. Anyone that says the 90s totally sucked, there were definitely some bright spots in there to be had for sure, as is the case with any era in comics. DC Comics presents number 26, the first appearance of the new Teen Titans. Cyborg, Raven, Starfire. I recently saw on someone's video where there's a little confusion about this preview in here. Some people tend to believe that this is a preview of New Teen Titans Volume 1, number 1, but it's not. And hence, this is the reason why this is considered the first appearance of the New Teen Titans. The preview that is featured in this comic book contains original content, kind of like the equivalent of a zero issue. So, which is why this is considered the first appearance of the New Teen Titans. Just a little pet peeve of mine, I guess. Some of these bigger channels that put out this information, I'm like, they should really just do their due diligence and open up the comic book before they put something out there as fact. Everyone makes mistakes, but come on, man. Anyway, Comico Primer, number 2, and this is the first appearance of Grendel. And here we have Caliber Presents number 1, which is the first appearance of the Crow. rounding out the first 10. Iron Man and Submariner #1, just a very underrated Silver Age one shot. This predates Submariner #1 and Iron Man #1 from the 1960s. All right, let's grab another batch. Whoops. There we go. Marvel Preview #4, the first appearance of Star-Lord. Actually, I'll just put this right in front. Justice League of America #21, the first crisis in DC history, DC Comics history, and also the first crossover between the JLA and the JSA. Love that stuff. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, the first cameo appearance of Darkseid. Oops. Marvel Premiere #15, which features the first appearance of Iron Fist, 6.5 CGC. Definitely bought this when this book was worth more, but I don't care. This is one of those books that I'm just going to hold on to regardless. Obviously, I didn't buy this to flip it. I bought it just for the PC, and it's one of those things. Comic books go through peaks and valleys, and right now this one's in the valley, along with this one. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1, but once again, badasses from the Bronze Age. Marvel Superheroes #12, featuring the first appearance of Captain Marvel, one of my top 10 favorite Marvel characters. Blue Beetle #1 from Charlton Comics, and this features the first appearance of the Question. Batman #232, the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, classic Neil Adams cover. Iron Fist #14, first appearance of Sabretooth. And Dr. Solar #1, first appearance of Solar. God, I'm still on the hunt for that Magnus Robot Fighter #1, within a reasonable price, of course. I ended up paying $50 for this. This is probably a 5.5, maybe a 6.0, but I don't know. But super awesome deal right there. Alright, moving it along. The Mighty Thor #165, which is the first appearance of him, aka Adam Warlock. Only like probably a 6.0 or even maybe a 5.5. It does have some creasing down there. San Diego Comic-Con #2, first appearance of Hellboy. Amazing Spider-Man #121, of course, the iconic cover and the death of Gwen Stacy. And you can't have that one without having this one. Another book that I just picked up last year, finally. Amazing Spider-Man #122, the death of the Green Goblin. Next couple of books are all from the Marvel Premiere series. Doctor Strange #169. Submariner #1. CBCS 6.0. Not bad. The Mighty Thor #126. The Incredible Hulk #102. Captain America #100. And that'll do it for the Marvel Premiere series. I'm still on the hunt, of course, for Silver Surfer #1 and Iron Man #1 at a reasonable price. Yeah, I know. Good luck with that at this point. All right. And Superman #199. I broke all of these up into like groups of 10 so I can kind of keep track. So, next batch up. There we go. Another book I just picked up last year. Brave and Bold #60. The first appearance of Wonder Girl and the first time that the Teen Titans are called the Teen Titans. Star Trek #1 from Gold Key Comics. Love me the original Star Trek, man. So I almost paid like big money for that online too. But once again, same store that I ended up picking up that Dr. Solar #1. I also ended up picking that up for $50 also. So yeah, that was a very good month in collecting. The Incredible Hulk #180, very fine shape. My pick of the year last year, and of course it has the Marvel stamp included. And as you know, as a Wolverine fan, I was just very, very happy to pick that up. If this was the first print, this would no doubt be #1 in my collection, but it is not. It is the third print of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, but I have to, unless I, stumble ass backwards Forrest Gump style into a first print, that's a book that I'll probably never own in my collection. But hey, I can live with that. Savage Tales #1. As a Conan fan, this was must-have for me. It was on my want list for years. Finally ended up finding this at a great price, along with the other like 3 or 4 issues of the series. So really happy to pick this up. Very fine plush shape, and the first appearance of Man-Thing to be pretty cool. The New Teen Titans #2, and this is the first appearance of Deathstroke in comics. One of my all-time favorite characters in DC. The all-new, all-different X-Men #94, CGC 5.5, which is, hey, it's good enough for me. This was the last issue I needed to complete my classic X-Men run of giant-sized X-Men all the way up to Uncanny X-Men #175, my personal favorite high point of the X-Men franchise. Spawn #1, allegedly one of the rarest in the top 100 rarest variants out there. Per CBSI a couple of years ago, I'm not sure if it still is, but this was a present from my brother to me, so it has some sentimental value. And I am an old school Spawn fan, and that is a kick-ass cover. Amazing Spider-Man #300, of course, the first appearance of Venom. Book that I initially bought off the spinner rack and then sold foolishly, and I ended up picking this up like 2 or 3 years ago. And I didn't even know it was the newsstand copy to boot. So, but my original copy was a newsstand copy, and now my copy for the long haul in my collection is also a newsstand copy. Pretty awesome. All right, I think we're down to the top 20 now. Here we go. Oh, I'm lying. We were in the top 20. So at number 11, here's the New Mutants, #98. First appearance of Deadpool. Very high grade, very cool. A comic that, a character that's kind of lost its luster. It's gone through kind of like the Marvel oversaturation cycle that the Punisher and Ghost Rider have been through, and the Guardians of the Galaxy pretty much. So, but still, classic characters don't go away. He's another one that's kind of in a valley instead of his peak. All right, now down to the top 10, I believe. So, Batman Adventures #12. As we all know, the first appearance of Harley Quinn in comics. One of my all-time personal faves. Star Wars #1, the first Star Wars comic, and the first appearance of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Princess Leia, and R2-D2 and C-3PO. Malibu Sun #13. I am really surprised by how much this book gained value, so I kind of had to put it in my top 10, just for the fact that, just hold on for 1 second. This issue happens to be the error variant, so pretty awesome. Pretty tough to come by, especially in a high grade. This isn't technically a high grade, but it's probably a VF minus, I would say. And I only paid $1 for it. It is my all-time best dollar bin find ever, which I might do a video on in the future. I know at one point Read Comics did a video like that, and I thought it was a really good idea, so I might have time on my hands, so it might be another topic for another video. Moving on down, Marvel Spotlight, number 5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider in comics. Let's see, where am I? At number 6, Amazing Spider-Man, number 129, the first appearance of the Punisher, CBCS 5.0. I think mainly because of the color fade, but I don't care. It was affordable at the time, and it got a first appearance of the Punisher into my PC. So, very happy about that. Alright, top 5, which pretty much hasn't really changed all that much. Conan the Barbarian, number 1. Anyone that's watched my channel for more than 5 minutes knows I'm a huge Conan geek. I have other comics that are worth more than that, but as a huge Conan fan, Conan the Barbarian, number 1, and Star Wars, number 1 will probably always be in my top 10, no matter what. Brave and Bold, number 54, comes in at number 4. First appearance of the Teen Titans in comics, and one of my all-time favorite Silver Age comics, one of my all-time favorite comics, period. Just to have the first appearance of the Titans in general. Fantastic. Number 3, Giant Size X-Men, number 1. Only a 6.0, but another one of those books that, as a kid, this is just one of those books that I used to look in the display case and just pretty much drool over. And when you finally buy it as an adult, it's one of those books that you just kind of stare at and kind of drool over for a little while until you finally put it into your long box. At number 2, we have The Fantastic Four, number 48, CGC 5.5. I bought this probably about 3 years ago. Let me prop this up a little bit. There we go. And definitely a grail of mine. I don't throw the grail word around very often, but to have the first appearance of Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, number 48 by Stan Lee and the King. It's just beautiful shit. Beautiful shit. And, of course, nothing's changed. I said this the last time I did a top 50 video. My favorite comic in my collection, The Incredible Hulk, number 181. First appearance of Wolverine. Probably a 6.0 copy. Marvel value stamp included, of course. And Wolverine and Batman are my 2 favorite characters in comics. Have a lot of books by those 2 cats, man. So, or starring those 2 cats, rather. So, that's all I have for this time around. I will be back next week with a comic book haul for this past month. And, yeah, that's it. Stay safe out there. Stay sanitized. And, special shout out to all those essential warriors out there that are keeping the country going, especially any doctors and nurses, on the front line, as well as, the truck drivers out there, anyone that's working in the supermarkets and Walmarts. Thank you all. So, take care, and I'll see you all next week. See ya.